I think we're live. It says live.
It says we're live, but there was no countdown, and I don't know how to make a countdown happen.
I think we're going. Let me double check.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, we are. We are. Hi, guys. I did this all by myself. Oh, I'm so excited.
We're only on the A4A channel, so I'll have to do something to get it to play on the other platforms. So I'll worry about that after the vigil. I'll probably just replay it for the rest of
Yeah,
the.
dude, slow down. I can't do all
Yeah,
this.
no, we're good. I'm proud of you. So I am going to run through the numbers, but we do have Billy with us, Reality Winner's mother. And this is week 120 of our Free Assange Vigil series. So we have 3,965 days of illegal and arbitrary detention for Julian Assange. We have 926 days since the WikiLeaks founder was trafficked from the Ecuadorian embassy after being sold to the US and the UK for a $4.2 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund to the nation of Ecuador. It's been 290 days since Vanessa Breitzer's January 6th ruling denying Julian Assange bail after personally ordering his release and ruling no extradition in his case. We have 1,520 days of inhumane pretrial detention for the alleged Vault 7 whistleblower Joshua Schultz. And at least 1,048 of those days have been spent under special administrative measures. We have 140 days since Commander X was illegally taken from Mexico in rendition to the United States. We have 928 days since the political persecution of Ola Bini started at the hands of the Ecuadorian government. We have 88 days since Daniel Hale entered a guilty plea to Espionage Act charges, and for the past 4 days, 4 days ago, he was transferred to the Communications Management Unit in the U.S. Penitentiary Marion in Southern Illinois. We have 90 days of detention served by Craig Murray for the crime of publishing in the United Kingdom. In the charges against him, the British Crown specifically cites his publication of Julian Assange's court trials to show how and why he's such an impactful journalist and should face prosecution. We have 136 days of freedom for Reality Winner, who was moved to house arrest and is expected to be put on parole November 23rd, 2021. We have 590 days of freedom for Chelsea Manning and 240 days of freedom for Jeremy Hammond. So with that, how are you today, Misty?
I am freaking excited. You guys know, if you've been watching us for a while, that I am not at all technologically inclined. And I just set up this StreamYard thing all by myself. And it was a little weird, a little clunky. We didn't have a countdown like we usually do. But you guys, I did it all by myself. Like, I can't tell you how excited I am. I just texted Sleepy Josh to brag about it. I'm going to be bragging about this for the next, probably for the rest of my life, really. I need the meme. The Sleepy Josh meme of the anonymous guy. When you remember the password to your own email, it basically means you're a member of Anonymous. That's me. That's me. Lucky says, yay. I know, right, girl? Seriously. But I'm doing really good. There's a lot of bullshit going on. But we're going to break it all down. I'm excited. Billy, this is the first time I'm meeting you. I've met Brittany, your daughter, who is awesome. I love her. So it's really nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me on. It's great to be here.
Yeah. And I know that you're not able to really talk a lot about what reality is going through, right? There's you guys are kind of on what's the word I'm looking for? They got you hushed up, which I get, but it's good to see that she's out. She's home with you guys. Is she doing well? She doing okay? I mean, given the circumstances.
Yeah, she's actually doing very well. And unlike her, I am able to talk, as I'm sure that you guys are probably aware of, that they couldn't shut me up for the last 4 years. So I have basically been the one out there screaming her name, on Twitter, on, any kind of venue that I possibly can get on, just to make sure that she didn't disappear, because that's what the government wanted. They wanted for her to fade away. They wanted her to be silenced, and they wanted everyone to forget about her, because, by making her disappear, they can do whatever they want to her, which the things that they did to Reality were just outrageous. Her treatment from day one, from the day that the FBI agents, showed up at her door. They didn't Mirandize her. They basically coerced the confession out of her. And, then denying her bail, keeping her locked up in a county jail for 15 months, basically torturing her, neglecting her needs. She wasn't being fed. She didn't get medical attention, just being in that filth. And they basically forced her to, break and accept a plea deal, which landed her, the longest sentence ever for a crime of this nature in, a criminal court. We know that Chelsea, of course, her sentence was much harsher, but Chelsea was in a different type of court. It was a military court. Reality Winner was in just a criminal court. And so for her releasing one document one time with absolutely no harm to our national security, them giving her basically 63 months of prison time, and then she has 3 years of supervised release after she serves that time. So I know I'm going on and on about it, but just to, I wanted to make sure that
please do go on and on about it. Yeah, we want to know like how she's doing, and it's good to hear that she's doing well. It'll be nice. Are we still pushing for a pardon? Or like what would you like to see happen? As far as her case goes, because she shouldn't have to deal with this at all. Like this is going to follow her around forever, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. So right now, Reality, she's applied for clemency. She put her application for clemency. I think it's been almost 2 years since she's applied for clemency. And clemency is basically asking the President of the United States her sentence, to say she served her time, her sentence is done. We still very much would like to see that happen, because even though Reality's been home with us since June 9th, right now she's still on what's called home confinement. So she wears a very heavy ankle monitor. She has to check in. The facility checks in with her daily. She's still very much in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons. And at any time, if she breaks a rule or doesn't answer that phone, something goes wrong with her ankle monitor, she is under the threat of them basically taking her back to prison. So her prison sentence actually ends November 23rd, and that's with all of her good time. They didn't, nobody got her out of prison early. Basically, she earned this through her exemplary behavior within. She never had a charge against her. She never had a case against her while she was in prison. And so she earned good time while she was serving her prison sentence. So if everything goes okay, November 23rd is her last day of actual Bureau of Prison confinement, where the ankle monitor should come off and she should be able to leave our property. Since she's been home, she's not able to leave our property without a special pass. The only time that she's allowed to, go anywhere is when they call her in for a drug test. Even though she's had absolutely no history of substance abuse issues, she still has to take routine random drug tests, and which, I have told them is just it's a waste of our taxpayer dollars. It's a waste of resources. And it's just, again, the way that the prison system works is, they treat everybody the same, blanket measures. And so, but anyway, so if everything goes okay, November 23rd, she'll get the ankle monitor removed. Then she starts a 3-year of basically federal probation. We still don't know what's going to happen with that federal probation. We don't know what her restrictions are going to be. We don't know what the conditions are going to be, what she's going to have to do, with regard to that 3-year sentence. So clemency would basically end all of that, would say your time is served, you're done. A pardon is something very much that we will always be pushing for as well, She can't apply for a pardon as of yet because there's actually a 5-year waiting period after
Wow.
after you're released from prison. You must have 5 years before you can actually apply for a pardon. Now, we know from the last administration that basically a president can do whatever a president wants to do. So any president can, basically pardon her and say, to release her from her plea agreement and from the restrictions that will follow her the rest of her life. Without a pardon, Reality faces the restrictions that she agreed to. She agreed to never speak about her case publicly. She agreed to always declare guilt. As long as she is under that plea agreement, she must always say, yes, I was guilty of espionage. She can't ever say, no, I wasn't, So that's something that will follow her. Without a pardon, she'll always be a felon. And we know that you have to, on every job application, you have to declare whether you have been convicted of a felony charge. And so there's going to be a whole lot of career choices that will be eliminated for her. She won't be able to apply for jobs that won't hire felons. She's always also part of her plea agreement is that she nor her family members nor any of her associates will be allowed to gain financially through her case. So, like, for example, let's say that I wanted to write a book about Reality Winner's case. I would not be able to, benefit financially from that while this plea agreement remains standing. And so a pardon is something that would get her out from underneath that, and would basically, give us the opportunity to hear from Reality Winner about her case, about what she did, why she did it, how she did it. Without a pardon, we'll never hear that from her ever. So without the risk of her, going back to prison. And so, that's something that I would like to see, done for her, that she is truly freed from all this and able to live her life, to not be, considered a felon, to not be guilty of the espionage charge, and to be able to speak freely.
Yes, and I think it's she should be able to tell her story. That's always really bothered me about the way that we handle these cases is you're not allowed to discuss why you did it, or what led up to you. I mean, like, Daniel Hale can't discuss his intent behind what he did, and that, like, we need to hear from our whistleblowers. The way that we restrict them and we prevent them from telling their side of the story just enables the establishment, the ruling elite, the deep state, whatever, to control the narrative, and to only put forth the one side of the story, and then manipulate the public perception of these people. And it's really unfair. I would like to hear from Reality. I would love to hear her side of the story and to hear what caused her to take such I mean, because that's got to be like a really difficult decision to make. And I would love to be able to hear from her, like, what was going through her head, and all of those things, and then how was she treated, and to hear it from her. So it's really unfair that she's silenced in that way. And then also, to, like you said, the fact that this being having this felony charge, or riding over her head for the rest of her life, is really ridiculous. Is she able to work now? I mean, I know you said she's like essentially confined to the house, but is she able to work at all on home confinement, or is it like she's on really strict home confinement?
She actually is employed. She was fortunate that somebody who we came in contact with throughout this entire process basically needed some help. It's a filmmaker out of Hollywood who is working on a documentary film, and needed her help and as a researcher. So she was hired on as a researcher and to do some graphics. Of course, all of the work that she's doing is online. It's from home, which makes it a lot easier on her, to be able to do this. And so she is working. She's also taking, computer programming course. And she immediately got her certification to teach CrossFit, which is something that she really wants to do in the future. She built herself a gym at our house so that she has everything that she needs so that she can, resume her, her goals as far as her fitness goals. And she's training because she really wants to run a half marathon in the first week of December. My daughter does not sit still for 1 minute.
It sounds like it. I need some of that energy.
Right.
She does everything. It's just, she cooks, she cleans, the only thing she hasn't started yet, which I hope to see in the near future, she hasn't started any of her artwork back up yet. But I know that that's just a matter of time that, she will, maybe have the space to start that again, to start her painting and her sketching and all the different mediums. She has carved some pumpkins. We bring her home a pumpkin every week, and she does some fantastic carvings, and she's enjoying being home. She's enjoying being with, we have 4 dogs, 3 cats, and now a horse. And so she's really enjoying, life here, taking care of the animals and being able to eat fresh foods, fresh vegetables, being able to, experience good food again, healthy food, and just that, all of that. Mm-hmm. So it's been really good having her here and, and helping her to kind of adjust. When she first got, released to home confinement, there was so much anxiety. And I think that was something that I was not prepared for, as far as the anxiety of, she had this cloud over her head that at any moment they could come and they could pick her up and take her back to hell, and just, you could see it on her every single moment. Every time that her phone rang, it was doom. She was expecting the worst, and she had to deal with all of that and to navigate, how do I deal with always having this anxiety, and she hasn't opened up to me yet as far as everything that she experienced while in prison. And I know that she hid a lot of things from us. She would always try to let us, tell us that she was doing okay, that things were fine, when in fact I knew that they weren't. And, because she experienced so much, especially when COVID hit the prison system, when they went on lockdown, that last year of her being in prison and being on a total lockdown status. And, that's one thing that just really bothers me about, like Daniel Hale, what he's experiencing now is, prison is bad. Prison is just a really bad environment. There's just so many things that you have to learn to deal with. But then when everything good, about prison, being able to work, like she had a really good job at the rec center. She was able to at least go outside and run. They were able to go to, the cafeteria, and she had fresh food there because of her kosher diet. But when COVID hit, all of that stuff was taken away from them. She no longer had a job. She couldn't be allowed outside. They weren't even allowing them outside for rec for an entire year, not to be able to go outside, which to me made no sense. I mean, why would you not
that's
allow
torture,
them?
in my opinion. Like,
that's torture, and
Right.
it's illogical. Like if you would think that they would want them outside in the fresh air rather than in a confined
Exactly.
space. That's
Exactly right. You would think that as much fresh air as you could get to them, would be better for them and better to kill off the virus, but no, they kept them confined, locked in their unit. And hers was the unit that had 100% positive COVID. The entire unit was positive and contracted COVID at the same time. And and then just the treatment by the guards, because the guards blamed them for the conditions. The guards blamed them that they had to come to work and work double shifts, because also the guards were coming down with COVID, and so they had to work extra shifts and they had to be there. And so the games that the guards were playing with them and on them, I know that, we tweeted it out there and we reported it out there that Reality was actually, congratulated upon testing positive for COVID. How does that feel? As a person who has zero control whatsoever, to have a guard say, congratulations, you are positive for COVID, as if it's her fault, as if it's something that she wanted. Because, Reality was in that prison, for 3 years before COVID started. So how did Reality get COVID? It had to have been the guards bringing it in. It wasn't the inmates bringing it in, but yet the guards were just so mean to them, blamed them for the whole entire situation, and what they were going through. So, like I say, Reality hasn't really opened up about everything that she went through, everything that happened to her while she was in prison. But I know that it left a lot of scars, and it left, some things that she's going to have to deal with for her entire life. So I don't wish that on anyone. I absolutely don't wish that on anyone to go through.
Yeah.
I
can't
really
imagine.
appreciate you being able to share your story and her story with us, though, because it's something that is paralleled throughout every sphere of whistleblowing or activism when people get detained. Like, we have a friend right now who goes by the name Commander X, that we have one of his numbers up, as unfortunate as it is. And he basically got picked up from Mexico and moved to renditioned, I guess, to the United States, and has been kept in a very small cell with a lot of people crammed into him, similar to Reality's situation. And we got to do a call with him a couple weeks ago from the actual prison that he was in. We did a teleconference with a whole group of us being able to talk to him. So the circumstances you're describing are beyond accurate, and if not even more horrifying than what anyone that's never been in there can imagine. So I'm proud of her for being able to go through that circumstance, because it's something that it's not easy. It changes you as a person, but it sounds like she's doing what it takes to build herself back up and have those goals for whatever happens after this.
Yeah, it's good to hear that she's like getting back into a routine and, has goals and, and as far as opening up, like I can't imagine, especially, to your mom. Like, I'm a mom. I can't, and I have a mom. I can't imagine like trying to explain those kinds of things, because I'm sure she knows that that's going to devastate you, and she loves you, and she doesn't want you to have to go through that too. So I'm sure that's a really tough thing for her to try to, find that balance of wanting to, open up to you, but also not wanting you to have to suffer through knowing some of the things that she, I'm sure, had to endure. And, you said that she had, one of the most extreme sentences in a case such as hers. It seems to me that the punishments or the kind of attacks on whistleblowers are amping up, exponentially. She had, the longest sentence ever, and now Daniel Hale is the first whistleblower who's been put into a CMU unit. And, of course, we have Julian Assange, who's facing 175 years in prison. And, Joshua Schultz being kept under special administrative measures, even though his initial trial ended in a mistrial, and they basically admitted that they can't prove that it was him who released the Vault 7 leaks. So it seems like these attacks on whistleblowers are amping up quite a bit, and it's really scary, the kind of the direction that we're heading in with all of this stuff. So I mean, but I am happy to hear that. I hope she'll pick up art. I know art's very therapeutic. Is she like, maybe this is too personal, but does she have like counseling or anything like that she's able to like teleconference or whatever, where she can talk to some?
Yeah, so she has been seeing an online therapist on her own. Through the system, the Bureau of Prisons, she has to do group therapy and individual therapy, but of course that's somebody who's affiliated with the system. So she of course went and she sought out some online counseling to help her to deal with everything. And just to adjust and just to learn how to adjust. And, I look at her and, she was 25 years old the day that she was arrested. And so she is coming out of this and coming up to her 30th birthday. She's lost 5 years of her life and trying to figure out like who she is at this point, after all of this, and who she's going to be, and that's something that, she, I know that she's going to make the right choices because she always has. But, she's got a lot to think about as far as, how to maneuver all of this.
Yeah. And if you think about it, just not only just figuring out who she is, but like reintegrating into society. In 5 years, a lot changes. I mean, if you think like 5 years ago, what was going on in the world, a lot has changed. And so to like be back in, like society, public, whatever, that's a lot. Like that's a lot to take on. And I'm sure that it's like kind of terrifying to have been in a certain environment for 5 years, and then to be thrust out into the world again. It's kind of, I mean, as terrible as it is that she's stuck in home confinement, maybe it's, kind of a blessing in disguise, because it gives her some time to, have a safe space, where she can kind of figure things out, before she gets, thrown back into the wild, yeah,
I agree.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I can't even imagine. Like I was thinking about it earlier, just trying to figure out like what that would feel like, to be in prison for nearly 5 years and then to just be reintegrated into society. And that's a lot. I mean, a lot changes in 5 years. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on, Billy. I want to thank you for the strength of your family, for the strength that reality's shown. Do you have any closing words? And is there any place that people can find you and more information on reality?
Yeah. How can we help?
So you can visit standwithreality.org, which has all of the information and a place for you to sign a petition urging President Biden to grant reality clemency. You can follow me on Twitter at Billy J. Winner Davis, I believe. There's also some Facebook groups, Friends of Reality Winner. And I guess in closing, I just think that we all need to, like you said, there's this ramped up war against whistleblowers, and it doesn't matter which, walk of life, which area the whistleblower is in. We just heard from the Facebook whistleblower. Fortunately, that person hasn't violated any laws, but it seems like anytime that somebody wants to bring something forth that looks bad on the United States of America and our government, they have been using the Espionage Act against them, which is something that really needs to be reformed. Anytime that our government uses the Espionage Act against somebody who has come forward with some truth against our government, it's not a fair fight. And so we all need to be aware of this and to really urge our politicians to change that up and to reform, that Espionage Act and make it so that our administration cannot use that against American citizens or others who are simply trying to get the truth out there. and to shed light where light needs to be.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Yes, well said. Thank you so much for coming on. We would love to have you back. It's always nice to get an update on Realities, how she's doing. It's always nice to hear, good news that she's doing well and that she's I'm really happy that she has such a strong support system. Like I said, we've spoken to Brittany and you've been on, and it's nice to know that she has a strong family support system to lean on. So thank you for everything that you're doing and fighting for her, and obviously thank her for everything that she's done and is continuing to do. And we just wish nothing but the best for her and your whole family. So thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
We're good. I don't think you got to switch anything.
Okay. I got really nervous.
I can see it in your face like I have to do a check. Oh my God. So today was Belmarsh Tribunal Day.
Yes. Oh, it was so good, y'all.
Yes.
So good.
I got to watch the whole thing. I left work like an hour early today. Don't tell my boss, to be able to listen to it. But I want to play one clip. Everyone here's probably seen it, but we're going to be rebroadcasting this onto the other platforms because right now we're only on YouTube. So I wanted to play a clip from it, and it's the portion that Edward Snowden gives. There was amazing speakers. Deepa was on there. Stella was on there.
Deepa crushed.
Yes.
Deepa crushed.
Who is it? Daniel Ellsberg. I almost said Daniel Hill. Daniel Ellsberg gave a like 5-minute comment. There was tons of people. It's a 2.5 hour. Tons of amazing.
Yeah. What's his name? Chris Williamson. Mm-hmm. A bunch. Just amazing people.
I'm gonna drop the link into chat for everybody, but I'm gonna screen share this real quick.
I don't have to do anything, right?
No, you shouldn't have to do anything.
I got nervous again.
We should be all good.
You guys, I'm so proud of myself. I can't tell you.
Can you see is the screen up on top?
No.
Do you have to approve my screen share?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. There we go. Hey. Look at me producing too.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's difficult to be here. I struggle to understand how we can be here after so many years. There have been so many stories told. There's been so much criticism. There has been so much deception. And where has it brought us? Has this been constructive? Is this a victory for us, for the state, for humanity, for our rights? When I came forward in 2013, I said the reason that I came forward was that we have a right to know that which is done to us and that which is done in our name by our governments. That was already under threat. And when you look at the world since, it seems that trend is accelerating. Do we still have that right? Do we have any rights if we don't defend them? Well, today we see someone who has stood up to defend that right, who has aggressively championed that right at an extreme cost. And it's time for us to defend his rights. What we're witnessing is a murder that passes without comment. And I want to say that it is difficult for me to comprehend the spectacle of the press of a nation, or the developed world, aiding and abetting with full knowledge a crime not only against this man, but against our public interest. However, at this moment, that we all see this, we all feel it. It's no less familiar than the shoes on my feet. Everywhere we look, from Afghanistan to economics, from pandemic to pervasive surveillance, the obvious has been made unspeakable. It has become unspeakable because the truth of our circumstances could be taken as evidence in the defense of the actions of the out of favor. And in the eyes of the American state, few represent this class, a greater object of hatred than the person of Julian Assange. He has been charged as a political criminal. something that I understand quite well, but he has been charged as the purest sort of political criminal for having committed the transgression of choosing the wrong side. The charges, which they are absolutely an unadorned legal fiction. We are told to believe that the state has these powers over what can be said and what can't be said, the things that can and cannot be said. But what happens if we permit that? Where does that lead? What are we? Can we be said to be free if even our power to express ourselves, to understand the facts of our world, can be fenced off from us? That we look beyond, through the gauze, through the veil, at what could be the facts of the world, but we're not permitted to acquire them. Julian Assange did not accept that, and the charges against him reduced to an allegation to commit the crime of journalism in the first degree. Which is to say, when we look at it applied elsewhere, the same sort of publication of classified material that we see in the New York Times or the Washington Post, aggravated by a conspiracy to accomplish the same, which is simply uncovering an uncomfortable truth. But something distinguishes Julian Assange from the greatest newspapers of our day, and that is his independence. Julian Assange is not a person who will be told no lightly. I remember in the case of 2013, when I came forward and revealed evidence of mass surveillance, which the government of my country had constructed the apparatus of mass surveillance, an entire scheme that spanned the globe, with the participation of Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and of course, the United Kingdom. And when the newspapers of all of these countries began publishing these things, one of the papers who held the archived material originally included The Guardian, was headquartered in the United Kingdom, still is. And I remember reading a story. Of course, I wasn't there for it personally. I'm getting this secondhand. Who knows what we can rely on in the state of journalism as it is today. But they were approached by the British state, who said, okay, you've had your fun. You've done enough. Now it's time to stop. And they had to send their archival material away to the United States, to a partner publication, because they no longer believed that they were safe to continue publishing. And they were right. Agents of the British state went to The Guardian. They destroyed their laptop computers. They've got it on film. Putting angle grinders to computer chips, trying to erase any trace that these stories had been written from within the confines of the newsroom. Now, Julian was not deterred by that, and he never would be. When you perform the level of surveillance against a person that has clearly been performed and is being performed, even today, certainly in prison, against Julian Assange, you understand at least something about that character. You understand what the breaking point is. You know what it'll take to make them bend. And he didn't bend. He will break before he does. He has consistently and continuously dared to speak the unspeakable in the face of opposition, in the face of power. And that is a remarkable and rare thing. That is the reason that Julian Assange sits in prison today. If you love the truth, as I think everyone here does, you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't be watching this, you wouldn't be participating in this, you wouldn't care about this unless something in you told you that something important was happening here. And if you do care, as I think you do, you are a criminal of the same category as Julian Assange. In the eyes of the state, what differentiates you, what divides you from him, that is only the degree. We share the same guilt. Each of us share in the crime, and we are unindicted co-conspirators in his quest to raise a lantern in the halls of power. Each of us shares in the forbidden desire to see justice done not merely to the instruments of these darkest moments of the human condition that we've heard about all day here, torture, extrajudicial killings, aggressive war, but to see justice done to their architects. And I have to say here, each of us will also share. And to me, it will happen without the faintest regret. In his ultimate fate, if we do not stop what is happening now. What is happening to Julian Assange is a crime, and he must be freed. If we're going to free the world, we have to free Assange. Thank you, and stay free.
I think that guy's face wraps it up pretty well. But I thought that was very powerful and very moving.
Yes.
The words of Stella Morris that she gave are very powerful as well. And honestly, listen to the whole thing if you can. If like literally if you can, because they go into details of torture about it. They go into the pixel density that allows them to view drone footage or view satellite footage to see that drone strikes took place, and the insanity behind getting high quality resolution images out of those areas to be able to even determine that drone warfare was used early on in the wars on terror, before WikiLeaks came out and confirmed all of this to the world. So it's, again, if you have 2.5 hours, or if you don't, please find it. Please listen to that, and please share it everywhere, because it is one of the most powerful things. And it's not like people like us, right? Like, this is like Jeremy Corbyn, Yonkis, whatever his name is. I feel terrible never being able to pronounce his name, but it's like MPs and parliamentarians and European councillors all coming together in Westminster, in the building that the United Nations was formed in.
Yeah.
These people are coming together to hold this tribunal.
Stella brought that up in her speech, that, you know, we're sitting in the building where the UN came together to decide on, like, the rules of the world, the stuff we're supposed to all like agree on, and it's all falling apart. And so that's to me, that was a very perfect place to hold, that kind of an event. It was really powerful, really. Yeah, it was good. It was good. All of it was good. And our good friend Deepa killed it. Glory Jones and Sleepy Josh just said she killed it. Deepa is amazing. I love Deepa. She's one of my favorite human beings. And she crushed. It is great. And yes, Andrew's right. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, I just tweeted the other day about Khalid al-Masri. And I warned people, like, you should look into this, and you should look into what happened to him. You absolutely should, but you need to go into it knowing that what you're about to experience is brutal. And it's nowhere near as brutal, obviously, as what he actually physically experienced. But just reading about it, I'm not joking when I say that I still have sleepless nights thinking about what happened to Khalid al-Masri. That's not a joke. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of really deep, dark, depressing shit, but it's stuff that we all need to, like, don't look away. We can't look away.
Yeah.
This is shit that's happening.
And, like, I hope that no one from this takes away hope. I hope you take away inspiration and courage, because we don't need hope. Like, we don't need another van full of empty promises. We need action and people to be brave to step up to say, like, no, this is not happening. Like, I will take my stand here, which is what us as a community have done. And shout out to Alex and Candles for Assange before we get into all of the news stuff and court stuff. Because there are over 60 events with the Candles program right now, and that is absolutely incredible. That crushes what we did in April for 55 global events. So
can I selfishly hype my own event?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on this panel. I honestly don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Wait till you see who I'm on this panel with, okay?
Oh, no, it's fun.
I have no idea what I'm doing. What am I doing there? Okay, so my friend Chris, who I actually Andrew and I worked with on the March for Medicare for All. We organized with him. He's fantastic. He's really tried to educate himself about Julian Assange. He just recently was elected to the ACLU executive board of his law school, which is Capital University, which the ACLU is, questionable, but it's still cool. And the great thing about him being elected is that a part of his platform that he ran on was Julian Assange. And so once he was elected, he immediately started lobbying the board to hold an event discussing the Julian Assange case, which I love him for doing. And so he contacted me like a week ago, maybe, and was like, hey, I just got elected. I want to do this thing. And he was like, is there anything coming up that, we could do? And I'm like, dude, there's court dates next week. Or like this is like a week ago, so like in 2 weeks. And he's like, do we have time? And I'm like, yo, we'll make it happen. So I immediately am like DMing people, and I'm like sending signal messages to Juan Passarelli, and I'm talking to Deepa, and I'm like trying to find people to be on this panel. And so Chris and I like got together and organized it. So I am on a panel with some amazing people. So here I'm gonna hype my own event selfishly. Did that come up? Okay, so yeah, okay. Capital Law ACLU presents the Julian Assange case, a discussion about the persecution of Assange and the freedom of the press. So this is Monday, on October 25th, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be myself, Juan Passarelli, who is one of my favorite human beings, along with Deepa Driver, Gabriel Shipton, who is Julian Assange's brother, Stephen Rode, who is the former chair of the ACLU Southern California. He's a civil rights attorney, like for 40 years or whatever. And then Chris is moderating it. So I have no idea what I'm doing on this panel, but there I am. That's me. I'm going to be there.
Right in the middle too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because I'm the only girl. So Chris is like, we'll put the girl in the middle.
Brought it all together.
Yeah. So there I am. You guys can come check me out trying to hobnob with some intellectual people. It's so ridiculous.
Lee Camp and Randy Credico are doing stand-up nights in New York and DC. I think the DC one happened. The New York one will be happening soon.
Let me see if I can find it. I think it's Monday.
And we'll have Shane on in a minute, probably like half an hour, 45 minutes or so, to talk about the events that he's planning out in New York for the day before Julian's trial outside of Netflix.
Yeah, shout out to Shane for taking that on and getting it put together so quickly. He's doing a great job. It's amazing. Why can't I find? Okay, so Randy's event in New York is, man, this flyer is kind of hard to read. Sunday, October 24th at 7 p.m. I do believe that they're sold out, but they are doing a live stream. So keep an eye out for that on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
I guess we could restream that. I gotta ask though.
I'm sure I'm pretty friendly with Randy. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I can definitely ask him. So here's the flyer for that, just so you guys can see it. So Margaret Kunstler and Margaret Kimberly are both going to be there. Who I love Margaret Kimberly, so that's going to be awesome. And then it'll be Lee Camp, Randy Credico, and Katie Halper performing comedy.
I'm glad Katie Halper's still going. She does.
Why would she not be?
No, I just meant like she's done awesome work. Like I'm glad
she has. Like I'm still like I don't dislike Katie Halper. I just
mean like in the Assange community, she brings a whole nother group of people in that generally wouldn't.
And she's done consistent coverage. Yeah. Like I mean, listen, nobody covers Assange as much as I would like. You know what I mean? Well, that's not fair. Consortium News, they do. They like it's all the time. So I love them. But yeah, it's she has been very consistent on her coverage. So I appreciate her. Yes, I appreciate her.
Chat points out Glory Jones does have an event with Steve and
Glory Jones. I need to hold on. I'll find your.
I believe Sunday. I could be wrong, at the CNN building at 5 o'clock.
Hold on, I'm gonna find the stuff so I can put it up too. I should have been more organized about this, but
I don't think we plan to go through them. We just like rattling them off.
Well, here's the thing. I had to do the StreamYard thing, so that was my capability for being organized and prepared.
27th in Los Angeles at 5
Yeah. Do you guys have like a flyer? Because I'm scrolling sucks. Hold on. Oh, is that it? Nope. That's not it. That's Shane's event.
You can share that one too. Oh,
I
Shane?
can. Yeah,
Whatever.
here, hold on. No, here's Shane's.
All the events, all the things.
I'm not going to share them all because there's like fucking 60 plus. So
shout out
Shane's.
to the awesome community. And
yes.
Shout out to Paula. Always shout out to Paula because she's been fucking killing it. She's going back to Marilyn Garland's house this weekend. She's probably driving there right now.
Paula's always killing it. When is Paula not killing it? Let's be real. Mm-hmm. She is amazing. Like I want to be Paula when I grow up. Seriously. Why can't I find Glory Jones? Send it to me on Twitter, please.
Do we want to jump into the articles though? The first couple should be pretty quick. They're only 2 slides each. It's just the Operation Pelican.
Hold on. I got it. Hold on. I got it. Never mind, Glory. I got it. Whew. Okay, here it is. So, urgent call to action, October 27th at 5 p.m. at the CNN building, which is 6430 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. If you are in the LA area, get your ass on the streets with Glory Jones. And she'll have a megaphone. I'm telling you, she's magic on a megaphone. So go experience that for yourself. It's good stuff.
Slides and articles.
Yes.
We're actually getting to stuff this time, though.
Lucky, I knew that there was a flyer. I just couldn't find it, girl. That's all. I just couldn't find it. Like, there's a lot of Twitter shit. It was all the scrolling. Couldn't find it. That's all. All right. Here we go.
Do the thing. There we go. This is cool. Thing. I like not having to do stuff. This is exciting.
What do you mean? That means I have to do stuff.
Because you're pushing all the buttons and stuff this time. Usually I have to push the buttons.
Dude, nobody should put me in charge of buttons.
So, letters from London, the worrying turn in Julian Assange case. So the way we laid out tonight is we have what's actually happening, what's being appealed, the new judges that were introduced to oversee the appeals, one new judge, one you'll meet in this. And then if we have more time, we have the CIA stuff and Operation Pelican. So High Rule's reasons for extending permission to appeal. It is the decision of, I believe it's Justice Swift, which the High Court at Wednesday's hearing has reversed. In doing so, the High Court admitted it is highly unusual for an appeals court to question a trial judge's assessment of evidence. However, in this case, supposedly, it is arguable that we should do so. Lord Justice Hyde Rule, a Court of Appeals judge senior to Mr. Justice Swift, these are very British names, explained the decision in this way. I bear very much in mind that District Judge Vanessa Baratzer saw and heard from all of the expert witnesses and made her assessments of Professor Kopelman with that advantage, which an appellate court cannot share. I accept that in general, this court rightly takes a cautious approach when considering the findings of fact. They may consider challenges to the finding of fact, including assessments made by the judge below. However, I fucking hate reading. It is, however, very unusual for an appellate court to have to consider the position of an expert witness whose written evidence had been found misleading, but whose opinion nonetheless has been accepted by the court below. The general approach does not operate as a complete bar from this court to find that the judge below was wrong in her assessment of the evidence. I have come to the conclusion that it is here at least arguable that the present case is one in which such a power may operate. Hyrold then went on to say that in his opinion, Baratzer might have given more critical consideration of Professor Kopelman's evidence. For those reasons, I respectfully disagree with Mr. Justice Swift, and I would grant the appeal on 3 grounds. It will be for the court in the appeal hearing to determine the admissibility of the initial evidence in which the appellate seeks to revive. In fact, Hyrold admitted that the High Court of Appeal itself cannot revisit evidence. The appeal court is not a trial court. Its only purpose is to decide whether or not Baratzer was wrong. if it does decide on appeal that Baratzer was wrong, and it hasn't done so yet, though High Ruled clearly thinks it should be, it has two options. Send the issue back to the Westminster Magistrates Court, who would then decide the health of the issue again over a fresh hearing, this time disregarding or placing little weight on Kopelman's evidence. Or two, decide the issue of Assange's health itself at the same hearing as the hearing of the appeal, and directly after the appeal has been heard and decided, accepting Baratzer's other findings of fact, but excluding or placing little weight on the evidence of Professor Kopelman. So in short, just to break that down for you, what they're saying is that the United States is essentially not even arguing about Julian's mental health, but that if the Professor Kopelman's testimony could be included as evidence, and in my opinion, this is just the way I view it, is the U.S. is literally arguing like, yes, he has been tortured. Yes, he is at risk of personal harm or further mental duress by being extradited, but we don't care and we would like him extradited anyways. Yeah. That's kind of what the U.S. argument seems to be to me.
Yeah, and they're trying to just completely discredit Kopelman, who's like a highly respected doctor who has spent the most time with Julian Assange, who's done the most thorough diagnostic evaluation of Julian Assange and his mental health. And they're grasping at straws, y'all. They have nothing and they know it. Whatever like flimsy little bit of a case that they were trying to prop up has completely disintegrated over the past few months, between the Siggy Thordarson stuff and Student Magazine, where he completely admitted to fabricating his testimony, to the Yahoo article, which just was reconfirming the stuff that we already knew about UC Global, and the Max Blumenthal piece from May of last year. Like everything has fallen apart. They know they don't have anything. So this is really just like they're just trying to drag it out, honestly. I mean, this is the Stratford leaks. They just want to tie him up in legal stuff for the next 25 years so that he is not a threat. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it's absurd and it's obvious, and this should be thrown out and lit on fire.
Yeah. You know? And the fact that like they break down the two possibilities if this appeals court actually accept it. One is that the whole thing just starts over again. Essentially, you go back to witness testimonies and trial hearings, which keeps Julian Assange in prison that much longer, for that to continue on, for that to have to be appealed to lock him down. Or they just say, well, fuck it, run with it and send him to the U.S. and see what happens as the second option.
The process is the punishment. Yeah. They're doing the same thing to Ola Benny right now. Ola Benny just tweeted recently that his trial has once again been delayed. And it's just like this constant kicking the can down the road, dragging it out for as long as possible. And it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. You know, and the fact that we're even after everything that's come out over the past few months, the fact that there's even a court date next week is absurd.
Yeah.
He should be out.
And then the crazier fucking thing is this next article. And shout out to Consortium News for this one, because this was Joe Loria himself that wrote these next two.
Yay, Joe.
So if you don't already support Consortium News, please do, because they're a bunch of badasses. Oh, no.
What?
My computer just freaked out. Can you still see me?
I can still see you.
Okay.
Yo, chat, can you still see Andrew? I can still see you.
Okay. I can't see my screen.
Oh.
My whole
I still see you, fams.
Decided to freak out.
Hold on, I'm checking our YouTube. Sorry, we're not on Rockfin. Somebody complained about that. Listen, I am very limited.
We will be after this. I have to close Chrome. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Okay. Don't go away. Dude, you do this to me all the time. He just leaves me on screen all by myself. Bastard. Oh. Come on, Andrew. Where you at, fam? Hey guys, it's just me. You're stuck with just me again. This is what Andrew does to me all the time. Fucking bastard. Seriously. Do you guys like my money bags, by the way? Money bags, mini money bags. I couldn't resist. I was at the Halloween store and I found them and I had to buy them. I had to. Oh, and by the way, my artsy Marxist, I have another one coming. I have another commission. Hi, Andrew. I have another commission from Artsy Marxist coming.
Are you commissioning my art now?
I am. Oh, goodness.
So I'm back. Sorry. But we will put this, I don't know if Misty said this, we will put this on Rockfin. I'm going to run it through our restream.
Yeah,
so
sorry guys,
Rockfin
we just
and the
don't have that
Twitch
set up.
and...
Sleepy Josh is gonna get us set up so that we can do the Rockfin stuff. And now that I kind of know, I guess I know how to do it now, kind of. But now I can do it all by myself. So Sleepy Josh is gonna set us up, so we'll go like to Rockfin and all that stuff too. So yeah, we'll get it fixed. We'll get it worked out. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
And I'll make an account, and if you toss me moderator, I'll be able to do all this.
Well, Sleepy Josh is gonna do like, I don't know, like a group thing where like you, me, and Jesse from Facts on the Ground can all log in, and we'll all have access to it. So
I like it.
Yeah, good stuff. So Sleepy Josh is gonna work on that for us.
So they did announce the two, I don't know how many judges there are, that I don't know.
Rob's here. Hi, Rob.
How you doing, Rob?
Haven't seen Rob for a while. Hi, Rob.
I like having chat like right there again, because it's not like hidden on like 6 different windows.
Okay, I don't know how to say your name. This person. Hi. This is my Empire Files shirt. I like my Empire. If you have a shirt and it's cool, you should tell me about it, because I'll buy it.
You could get a shirt with my face on it from Magnus's.
I'm totally getting a shirt with your face on it, and some other stuff from Magnus. He made me a Assange one. I need to order it.
I want to get the war criminal throw pillows.
Yeah.
Because that just sounds like
fun. I didn't know Convo Couch had pillows, and I want a pillow now. I have all kinds of shirts. Yeah, they have pillows. I want a pillow.
Shout out to everybody with a shop.
Yes. Seriously, if you guys sell shirts, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I have a legitimate problem. I am a shirt addict. Hi, my name is Misty, and I'm addicted to shirts. I'm not joking. I have a ridiculous amount of shirts, and if you have shirts and they're like funny or snarky or whatever, I will buy them. I will 100% buy them. It's a real problem.
So I don't know how many judges are going to be on the appeal. 2 of the judges has been selected. This is the first one, and I don't want to make it sound like sports ball, so I'm not going to frame them as like good guy, bad guy. But the article tells you who they are and the things that they've done. The first judge we're finding out, this was on the 21st, is going to be that same Timothy Hyde-Ruled guy that we just talked about from the previous thing that's saying it's okay to appeal all this. Do you want to read this one before I butcher all the words?
I can. Is that how you say his name? I thought it was like Holyroyd or Holroyd. I don't know.
I don't know how to say names. So it could be whatever. My brain just picks words.
Can we just call him Lord Justice Douchebag? Okay. Right. So Lord Justice Douchebag, the High Court judge who reversed an earlier court order to bar the U.S. from appealing Julian Assange's medical issues, will preside over the substantive U.S. appeal hearing at the High Court next week. In January, lower court judge Vanessa Breitzer refused the U.S. request to extradite the WikiLeaks publisher because of his high risk of suicide and the conditions of U.S. prisons. The U.S. applied to appeal that decision, which was granted by the High Court in July. The court allowed 3 of 5 grounds of appeal, excluding the matter of Assange's health. The U.S. challenged that ruling, and in an August 11th High Court hearing, Douchebag, did I say douchebag or douche canoe? I can't remember. Overturned the earlier court decision, siding with the U.S. argument that Breitzer's finding on Assange's health could be appealed. That will be the central argument in the 2-day hearing beginning next Wednesday at the Royal Courts of Justice in London. The U.S. says Assange is not too ill to be extradited and has accused him of being a malingerer. Joining douche canoe, whatever I said, on the High Court bench will be Dame Judith Farbery, who remained silent during the August 11th hearing. It is highly unusual for a judge who has already ruled in favor of one party to continue on the bench, according to Consortium News legal analyst Alexander Mercurius? Probably butchering that. I'm so sorry. In most cases, fresh judges would be brought in who have had no part in earlier rulings for either side. After the August 11th hearing, Mercurius said, douchebag, douche canoe, comments made it clear that he would not be part of the appeal panel. If he does turn up, on the panel, then that would be an extremely serious development, end quote. He said, adding that it would be open to legal challenge if he did. It is not known at this time whether Assange's lawyers will challenge Douchebag Dushkanu's appointment to the case. After learning Douchebag Dushkanu would indeed oversee the hearing next week, Mercurius said it is extremely disturbing news and very worrying. Nothing in this case is proceeding as it should do. Douchebag Dushkanu is an exemplary product of the British establishment, which has its own motives against Assange. He graduated from Bristol Grammar School and studied law at Wadham College, Oxford. He became a Queen's Counselor in, is that 1996? Sorry, my screen's a little fuzzy right there. 1996, was appointed to the High Court in January 2009 and knighted in 2013 and admitted to the Privy Council in 2017.
I feel like a Privy Council should be way cooler than what it actually is.
Right.
But so they're literally giving the same dude that just said, yeah, no, it's okay to appeal this. Like, this sounds good. Potentially back on the bench. Honestly, I think it's just to create more legal situation, to make Julian's lawyers have to appeal it, because you're going to have to appeal it. And then it keeps Julian in prison for even fucking longer. So I feel like that's one of the mechanisms that they're putting forth just to drag the case out in its own respect. Which is, I don't know, not that there's not even words to describe what this is aside from inhumane.
Yeah.
But
and fucking ridiculous. The fact, seriously, I just had an interview with Ryan Knight yesterday, and we were talking about this. And when you go over all of the absurdity of this case, it sounds like you're making it up. It sounds like you are talking out of your ass, that you're crazy. You know what I mean? The fact that he was spied on in the Ecuadorian embassy, including his talks with his lawyers and his legal team, and the fact that the key witness is a convicted child molester and a career criminal who was convicted of embezzling money from WikiLeaks, and the fact that we know that they were plotting to assassinate or kidnap him, and that they were going to potentially kill other members of WikiLeaks, and that they tried to steal a diaper, and it sounds fucking nuts.
I actually typed it out. Can I read? Because I put it in their tweet, but can I read all of it?
Yes.
So I gave a friend of mine bullet points. These are just the basic background features, right? That Julian was trafficked, not arrested. WikiLeaks has a 100% accuracy rating, never having to retract a single document or email. Julian Assange is not an American citizen, and WikiLeaks is not a registered American corporation. The U.S. says that it can charge anyone under U.S. law, not allowing that person a single constitutional protection, which is actually something that they spit in their own face about, prosecuting someone else. What I can't remember the dude's name, so I'm not going to ramble about that. Julian has won more than 20 awards for his journalism, including the Times Person of the Year Award, the Sam Adams Award, and the Stuttgart Peace Prize most recently. Julian Assange has been held in arbitrary confinement for almost 4,000 days, according to United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture, Niels Melzer. Julian Assange was originally arrested by a joint effort between the CIA, the private security firm UC Global, Richard Grenell of the U.S. government, Lenin Moreno of the Ecuadorian government, and the UK Home Office and Operation Pelican. Julian was under constant audio and video surveillance by UC Global as early as 2017. They spied on his legal meetings and went as far as to have audio and video equipment installed in the stalls of the women's bathrooms to surveil him. Ecuador granted the UK police permission to enter the embassy to arrest Julian only after receiving a $4.2 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund, which Rick Grenell helped organize. And it was Trump's appointee. I think it was the former CEO of Pepsi at the time. Point 5A, in the middle of 2020, Julian Assange was moved to the medical isolation unit after a video surfaced of him inside a Belmarsh prison. During that time period of extreme isolation, he was psychologically tortured to the point that he could not remember his own name in open court. The inmates in Belmarsh prison, commonly referred to as the Guantanamo Bay of the UK, had to organize to get Julian removed from the medical isolation unit. January 4th, 2021, UK judge ruled against extradition based on the medical testimony and risk of suicide if sent to the United States, and the judge personally ordered his release. The judge accepted all other arguments put forward by the United States, including that The executive branch of government may use the Espionage Act to dictate what is and isn't acceptable publication. The judge dismissed witness testimony from former UC Global employees showing how the CIA was spying on Julian by proxy through UC Global, Sheldon Adelson, the hopefully dead Zionist billionaire and former owner of the Las Vegas Sands Casino. She also stated that it is acceptable for intelligence agencies to spy on a publisher without a warrant if that publisher reports on national security information, voiding lawyer-client privilege. On January 6th, 2 days after ruling no extradition in Julian's favor, she denied his bail request and personally ordered his release. Denied his bail request after personally ordering. I can't even read my own words. The judge, among other reasons, cited fairness to the United States as to why Julian should remain incarcerated as a remand prisoner in the United Kingdom. U.S. prosecutors used witness testimony from a convicted Icelandic sociopath and pedophile to try to pin cybercrimes on Julian. In reality, the witness was an FBI informant who recently admitted to fabricating the entire story for the purposes of getting immunity from the FBI. The witness stole $50,000 from WikiLeaks and is currently in prison in Iceland on financial crimes, which is a whole nother thing. I'll ask you about that because that's fucked up in and of itself. The prosecution argued that any person, even a normal citizen who shares damaging information to the U.S. interest can be prosecuted under the Espionage Act, even going as far as to state in open court that they can be arrested for simply liking or sharing a social media post. The judge gave the U.S. everything they wanted except Julian, literally criminalizing both the domestic U.S. press and international press if they receive, transmit, or publish classified information. If Julian is allowed to be extradited to the United, and then I also have some shit about the Netflix thing, which is a whole nother fucking story, and all of that doesn't even get into what's actually being argued in court a couple days from now, a week from now, which is fucking insanity. Right, because you can't like break that down in an email like, hey, here's this crazy shit, and that's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's like 2% of the entire story of what's happened over the last decade, just to this one person and organization alone. And so we do have. Sorry, do you want to add anything, Misty?
No.
I was kind of just reading a rant.
No, don't get me started, dude. Don't get me started.
So this next two slides is Chief Justice of England and Wales who blocked Lori Love's extradition joins the bench for the Assange hearing. I'm not a hopium person. I don't think that we should look at this as good news because the hearing shouldn't even be happening.
No.
I don't know much about this judge. The article gets into his background a little bit. But I don't think that we should think of it like good cop, good judge, bad judge, because they're all bad judges. Like, this shouldn't be happening in the first place. These people shouldn't be here in this situation where Julian even has to go in front of them. So I don't think, some people may frame it like, hey, this is a great thing, and cool if they do, but like personally, I don't think any of this is a great thing. Can you pull the screen share up, Misty?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to type.
No, you're good.
I can read again if you want. I know you hate it.
Yeah, that's fine. I just don't want to make you read all the slides.
It's fine. It's fine. Ian Duncan, is it Burnett? I'm guessing the most powerful judge in England and Wales will join Lord Justice Douchebag again, or Douche Canoe, whichever you prefer, on the bench next week for a 2-day U.S. appeal in the extradition case of WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange at the High Court in London, according to a spokesperson at the Royal Courts of Justice. Burnett, known as Baron Burnett of Maldon, it's probably something fancy. Was the
names.
Huh?
I'm so jealous. Like, why can't we have something like that?
I know, right? Right? I want a cool, fancy title like that. Jeez. Anyway, was the High Court Justice who, on humanitarian grounds, overturned a lower court ruling that British activist Lori Love should be extradited to the United States. Burnett ruled in February 2018 that Love's extradition would be oppressive by reason of his physical and mental condition. Burnett and Mr. Justice Duncan Weasley? Weasley? What the fuck ever, said in their decision that, quote, we accept that the evidence shows that the fact of extradition could bring on severe depression and that Mr. Love would probably be determined to commit suicide here or in America, end quote. Instead, they recommended that Love be tried in the United Kingdom on charges of hacking into U.S. government computers. Unlike Love, Assange is accused of no crimes in Britain, but like Love, he has been deemed by the magistrate's court at high risk of suicide if he were to be extradited to the United States. The U.S. is appealing the lower court's decision not to extradite Assange to the U.S. based on his propensity for suicide. The U.S. is arguing that Assange is not too sick to be sent to the U.S. and that he is a malingerer. Dushkanu is the high court judge who on August 11th reversed an earlier high court order limiting the U.S. from appealing Assange's medical issues. Dushkanu, whatever, was originally to sit with Dame Judith Farbery, according to the Ministry of Justice. Burnett has presided over some of the most high-profile cases in Britain in recent years, including the 1987 King's Cross fire, the inquiry into the convictions of the Guildford 4 and Maguire 7, the 1997 Southall rail crash, and 1999 Ladbroke Grove rail crash inquiries, and the 1997 inquest into the deaths of Diana, Princess of Wales, and Dodi Fayed.
That's that one.
Yeah. This guy has no business continuing on this.
So, and that's why I don't want to frame him as a good guy, because I don't know shit about London. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I know who Princess Diana was. Aside from that, I don't know what else he's done aside from the Lori Love thing. And I don't want to pretend like there's a good guy in this situation aside from Julian. Like, if they make the right decision, that's awesome. But I don't think it's necessarily a reason to, going into this, believe that this guy's going to be the hero that saves everything.
No. Listen, we're not going to win this in the courts. The courts are not going to, obviously, they're not, this is not about legality. It's not about doing the right thing. It's going to take, we've been saying it for years, mass public pressure. That is the only thing that works. That's it. That's the only thing that we can do at this point. They are going to continue to be completely ridiculous and unreasonable and unjust and unfair. I don't know if they could do more to prove that to everybody. They, like we just said, he shouldn't even be there. Like, they don't have a case. There's no case whatsoever. And any like flimsy bit of a case that they had, again, has completely dissolved over the past few months. They have nothing. And he's still in a supermax prison being tortured to death as we speak. And, that's not going to end because of the courts. It's just not.
Yeah.
As sad as that is, it's just not. That's not how this is going to work.
No, and I don't even know if a mass mobilization will work at this point. Like, I hope so. We're fucking doing it. Like,
that's all we can do.
So shout out to all the hardcore people that are still fucking going out there. Germany's going harder than ever. The Boston crew with Paul at the lead's doing awesome. Denver's fucking killing it. Bay Assange. New York has so many fucking events. Like, whatever part of New York City you're in, there's probably an event happening there one day leading up to Julian's trial. So if you're in that area, find it and turn out. I've tweeted them all out. You can literally just search my name with whatever major cities near you. I think Minneapolis is having a couple educational events. Yeah. Do we, I kind of want to skip the CIA stuff because everybody knows that super good. Do you want to do the Operation Pelican stuff before Shane jumps in?
We can, but can I bitch about something really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, y'all, if I'm on Twitter tweeting at large platform blue checks trying to get them to call attention to Julian Assange, I don't give a shit about your beef with that person. I don't care that you don't like Tulsi Gabbard. I don't care that you don't like, I don't give a fuck. I don't like any politicians. I'm still going to tweet at them. I'm still going to ask them to speak on Julian Assange and call attention to what's happening. There's some douche canoe in my mentions right now saying that it's a waste of time because the system's corrupt and you can't expect to change the system by asking Tulsi Gabbard to speak on it because she's part of the system. Nobody said that we're going to change the system by getting Tulsi Gabbard to tweet about Julian Assange. What that does is call attention to what's happening to Julian fucking Assange. We're trying to save his life right now. So if you have a problem with that, shut the fuck up. I don't care. Get out of my mentions. Sorry. It just pisses me off.
Because I think there's no one that had a bigger problem with Tulsi than us, like, to be fair.
No.
Like, it was us and MCSE that were like, well, what about, like, Council on Foreign Relations? Like, you're cool. But anyways,
sorry, that was my little, I had to get that off my chest because it fucking pisses me off.
So in the history that the world doesn't know history, right? January 6th, in my opinion, the shit that happened in the Capitol was to cover up Julian's extradition ruling and put something huge in the headlines, right? Where they blocked his bail. They said, no, you're going to remain in prison even though we ordered your release. And in a way, it's happening again because you have the House of Representatives essentially debating bullshit January 6th stuff. Like, not that it isn't important in its own way, right? Because they're literally trying to reveal, like, hey, was there federal agents? But we know that Congress is a horse and pony show, and they would much rather discuss things than not mention fucking signature reduction than they would to talk about Julian Assange's case. So big fuck you to Jim Jordan for making this week about January 6th in Congress instead of making it about Julian Assange. I just felt like putting that out there. Like, I don't think anybody here likes Jim Jordan, but just as an extra.
No, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So let's do this. This is the long one, Misty. We
can
go
okay.
Back and forth or whatever. It's.
Yeah. Oh, Shane's here too. Do you want to wait on that so we can?
Yeah, we can wait
Shane?
on that.
Okay. By the way, Baby Jack's here. Baby Jack's here. Jack's here.
Oh.
Baby Jack.
Hey, buddy,
She's
how are
very
you?
stuffy.
Hi,
Shane.
I'm okay. How are you guys?
Good, man.
Good. Doing well. We're doing well.
That's good.
Oh, except Jack's going nuts.
Oh.
There you go.
So, do you want to talk about what you got going on in New York? I believe it is the 26th at noon outside of Netflix for as long as people will stay there.
Pretty much, yeah. So we're doing a protest outside of Netflix on the 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. For those of you in the New York City area or surrounding areas who want to come in for the protest, we've got a couple of speakers booked, and we got recorded statements coming in. I don't want to say some of the bigger speakers. We haven't got confirmation on them yet, so I'm not going to say anything about them. I don't want to get everybody excited and then somebody doesn't show up. So I want to be very careful what I say here.
Yeah, I think the audio statements is a really cool idea, though.
Yes.
I've been asking people behind the scenes if they'd be willing to record them to be played out. So if anyone listening would like to record an audio statement and I haven't already asked you, please feel free to send it to me. DM me on Twitter. I'll give you my signal or my email, and you can send it to me that way.
Exactly. Yeah, our editor, the KRTD editor, is stitching all these audio statements together, and we're going to play them all throughout the protest. Mostly third-party candidates and independent media people have been willing to do this, but I actually, surprise, I got 3 Democratic candidates to say something about Assange.
Wow.
So,
I could maybe bet who, like, there's only a few that are cool on it, like Shahid Buttar,
yes,
Christina Olivo, Salem Snow. I could give you some names of people that you could ask.
Sure. Yeah. So far we have gotten Shahid Buttar. He hasn't sent me his statement yet. He just texted me to follow up with me today. So his statement should be coming in soon. We got Democrat Dan Whitfield's running in Arkansas as a progressive. He ran as an independent in the last election. Friend of mine. Maybe that's why he was able to see this from a different perspective, because he ran independent before. Maybe, I don't know. And we got Jason Call out of Washington's 1st District. Those were the few Democrats who agreed. Listen, I wasn't expecting them, even though, I know them too, but I'm grateful that they agreed to make the statements.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for anybody, like at this stage of the game. We were just talking about Misty was getting some hate for just reaching out to people and saying, hey, will you talk about Julian?
I'm going to be honest. If Mitch McConnell wanted to come speak at my protest in favor of Julian Assange, he'd be welcome.
Fuck yeah. I don't care who it is. I don't give a shit. Well, that's not fair. There are some people that I would turn down.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, if you're willing to speak on behalf of Julian Assange and call attention to what's happening to him, welcome aboard.
Exactly. I'm not being very picky. Well, if somebody wants to speak at my protest, and I'm not a huge fan of them, but they have a platform and they're like not a murderer, go ahead.
So to be fair, I think DJ L7 will show up. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes,
Andrew.
I do know who that
well,
is.
he said he was coming out. He mentioned it in the Twitter thread.
He did say he was coming out. He also threatened me in private messages. So
yeah,
I don't
he's
know
a loose. Like I don't like that guy at all. He's a loose cannon. Like he's very aggressive and mean to people.
He told me that he's going to decide. When I told him I have speakers, there's going to be a press release. He told me that I'm lying and that he will decide if my speakers are real people or real good or not. And I'm like, what? And what do you mean I'm lying about the press release? The press release is going to go out on Monday, probably Monday night. So I'm not lying. The press release will go out Monday night. And if you don't like the speakers, I really don't care.
Yeah.
It's not his decision.
Yeah.
Let him organize an Assange protest, and then he gets to pick the speakers.
Yeah. Yeah. He's an interesting character, to say the least.
Yeah.
You're not the first person he's threatened. I mean, it happens on a fairly regular basis, I think.
If he's going to come out and support Assange and he wants to say a couple words, fine. But if he's going to come out and he's going to cause problems, please don't come.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. We don't need any. It's already difficult enough at protests to worry. You have to worry about if there's going to be police issues or whatever else. You don't need some guy causing problems with the protesters. You really don't.
No, especially in an Assange protest. We don't need more drama. We don't need more drama.
There's a question in chat asking if it's going to be streamed live anywhere.
Yes. So I am learning how to do it tomorrow morning. I'm learning how to use StreamYard on my phone, and it's going to be streamed live to KRTD Media. Roar Media has agreed to pick it up, I believe. I don't want to say for sure. So it's going to be streamed to a couple of different places. I'm going to see how many people I can get to pick up the stream.
That's awesome. I'll definitely pick it up when I can. I'll be in the middle of the workday, but I can probably figure something out tech-wise.
I can figure it out maybe, or Sleepy Josh can help me.
Yeah.
We can stream it on A4A. I can stream it on Fax.
I'm using the same strategy I used when we did the U.S. Solution Summit. When we did the U.S. Solution Summit, the idea was to get as many eyeballs as possible. So we had as many people who were willing to stream it because that gets you the most views. And this is an important event that needs to get a lot of attention. So I figured, why not employ the same strategy we've used before that has been successful?
Absolutely.
Yeah. MCSC would probably stream it.
Yeah, no, if it's up on our restream, it'll plug into MCSC. It'll go. We can't do the Rockfin because you got to log in directly into Rockfin. You can't just do it with a key. But yeah, so it'll at least be up on those too. So that's really exciting.
So we're having a number of speakers. We'll invite any of the protesters who, after we've had the main speakers speak, any of the people who come out, we'll give you guys the mic if you want to speak and you want to say something. Also, we'll play the recorded statements, probably spread out. We'll probably play them at the beginning, and then we'll play them spread out throughout the protest. We've got a decent number. I've been pretty surprised with who's been willing to give me audio statements, honestly. And I'm really glad that these people are doing it. Like I said, I don't want to give away all the names right now. I want people to be surprised when they come out to the protest. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the stream is going to pick up the audio statements. I can't promise that.
If the camera is relatively close and whoever's using the megaphone, it should be able to pick it up pretty okay.
Okay.
That's honestly always been our biggest struggle is audio quality while on the ground.
Definitely, yeah. And I got my equipment is limited to 2 cell phones and I think an iPad. Like I'm not going to bring, I got better equipment, but I'm not going to bring it to a protest. I'm not risking anything.
Absolutely.
Equipment. But I'm really looking forward to it. I've been really excited. A lot of the people on the KRTD team have been really helpful in coming up with speaker suggestions. There's a Twitter group. Some of us are in. I think you guys are both in that Twitter group. Mm-hmm. With a lot of the people involved with the protest. Everybody's been pretty helpful. Give a special thanks to Joe Firestone. He does one of the shows on the KRTD network. He's been really helpful in coming up with academic speakers who could speak, specifically people who are constitutional professors and people like that. He really knows his stuff on that. So I think those would definitely be. So I want to definitely give a shout out to him, and to everyone else on the KRTD team who's been helping us out with this. This has been a lot to plan in 9 days. We're used to having a little bit more time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys pulling it together so quick. I think it's absolutely awesome.
Yes.
Anyone who's in group chats with me knows that I'll just throw out calls to action and be like, hey, who wants to pick this up? This is a really cool idea. And so I put that out, and you're one of the people that picked up the New York event. So I really appreciate you helping out with that, getting that going. And then doing it so well, like getting all of this built behind the scenes and started and moving forward. I think it's really cool to see.
Listen, when I do something, I do something. I'm not going to half-ass it. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to come out there. I'm going to pull all the connections I can, and I'm going to make it a nice event. I'm not going to do something sloppy. There's no reason to. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something.
Well, it's cool that you've been able to pull this together. Like you said, it's like 9 days. Like I am under very similar circumstances with the event that I'm doing with Chris from the ACLU at Capital University. Like it's very last minute, and we were scrambling. Huh?
How long do you have?
So our event's on Monday, and I'd have to look for sure what day Chris messaged me to initially get started. I can look real quick, but it was like not very long ago.
So you probably got started like a week ago at least.
Yeah, maybe. Let me look.
Listen, with this event, it had to be on the 26th. I didn't want it to be too far long after the movie was released or too long after the trial. This was a time thing. If I could pick any date, I honestly would have picked a Tuesday next month, but it wouldn't have the same impact if I did it next month as it would if I did it very close.
Absolutely.
Let's see. The first day that he messaged me was October 13th.
So you guys had a little bit more time than we did, or
yeah.
Not much?
Yeah. But yeah, we're putting together. We managed to get some really cool people, though. I mean, we got Juan Passarelli, we got Gabriel Shipton, we got Stephen Rode. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a scramble, but we did it. We did it. Yeah.
No. And this is definitely a new experience for me. I'm used to when we did the U.S. Solution Summit, we had an events planning committee. We had like 8 people doing that. We had an event director. This is just me and a couple of people on the phone. Hey, what do you think is a good idea? What do you think is a good idea? Because we don't have time to set any of that up, because by the time we set up something like that, it's going to be too late to do the event.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crunch time. It really is crunch time.
Exactly.
And honestly, the best events we've ever had are just megaphones. Like, I guess every event we've ever had has just been megaphones and people standing, but that's all you need. That's all we need is literally town criers and people willing to go out at a moment's notice and be like, look at the world as it is. So again, huge credit to you for picking up and getting that going. And if there's anyone else listening that would be interested in doing the same kind of thing, we will help you. We will
help you.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it. I've never done something like this before. Let's hope it turns out okay.
It'll be, no matter what happens, it'll be a fun memory. As Ron Paul put it, there's no greater joy than fighting for freedom.
Yeah.
Let's just hope we don't all get killed at that. That'd be a really shitty ending to this book.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to see you out there. I think we got some new speakers. I think Ramona Masachi has just agreed to speak. She DM'd me not too long ago, and I'm just like, hey, you want to speak? And she's like, I'll speak if you need me to. I'm like, great, you're speaking.
Nice. If anybody can get Susan Sarandon, we're trying to get Susan Sarandon to show up. That would be amazing. She's a New Yorker. So I've tweeted at her. If you guys could go tweet at her, be nice about it. Like, don't be annoying, but like maybe retweet the event flyer and say, hey, it would be cool if you could, make it out to this or whatever. That would be awesome, because having Susan Sarandon show up, especially after everything she's done with the Donziger case, it would be great to have her out there. And she's been receptive and supportive of Assange, kind of passively. I would love to see her be more involved, but I think that we could potentially encourage her to get out there. So go tweet at her. Everybody go tweet at Susan Sarandon, please.
And one of our other speakers has just emailed, I think, directly her assistant. So, maybe that'll get to her. Maybe it won't. Maybe the tweets will get through to her. And then she'll say, somebody you've actually been invited. Oh, great. And then maybe she'll come. Yeah. I mean, she's officially been invited as of this morning. So I guess tweeted her, encourage her to come. I think it's as of this morning she's been officially invited. So
can I run through the full candles list? I'll be quick.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna screen share.
Can you hang out, Shane? I don't know how much time you have.
Oh yeah, I got time.
Okay.
Okay, cool. It's up in the doobly doo, Misty.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're learning. Look at you.
Well, I'm multitasking right now. Sorry.
That's a lot of events.
Yeah.
Oh, there's we're in 14
this is the
countries.
List of weekly events that's been going on forever now.
Yeah.
But let me get to the actual one. So we have London this Saturday at the British Broadcasting House at 1 p.m. We have Wednesday in London outside of the Royal Courts of Justice. That's when everything's going to be taking place. Most of the court trials started at 10 a.m. British time, which is like 5 a.m. Eastern U.S., and then scale backwards if you're in California. Frankfurt, Wednesday, the 27th. And then all of the Germanys, so many Germanys.
Germany kicks ass.
Yeah. Shout out to Taylor with her work at Activism Munich for getting all that, not personally going, but being a voice over there to get the fire burning underneath them. We have Vienna on the 27th, London, another one on the 26th at the New St. Pancras New Church. We have Dublin on the 23rd. We have Amsterdam on the 27th. We have The Hague, which I'm fucking excited that people are going outside of The Hague on the 19th, which I guess that just passed. We have Warsaw, the 27th and the 28th, outside of the U.S. Embassy at 6 p.m. We have Hobart in Australia. And shout out to all the fucking Australians with the balls to turn out to this with the state of their nation right now. So those people are the fucking hardcore heroes in this moment. We have Brisbane turning out. We have Wellington, Sydney. In the United States, we got the Washington, D.C. events that Paul is putting together this weekend. I don't think we're giving out the address, but if you're interested, Google Merrick Garland's address and join Paula outside of there. She's one of the fucking badass heroes of this movement. New York City and D.C. for Lead Camp stand-up this Sunday. We got San Francisco tomorrow, the 23rd. We have New York, the 26th, but also on the 28th, they're going to Grand Central Station near the Apple Store at, why did she do this? 5 p.m., 1700 hours, 5 p.m., if I'm right. Another New York City that just took place today, and then the 26th event happening. Los Angeles, shout out to Glory Jones and Steve and all them out there. Wednesday the 27th outside the CNN building at 5 p.m. We have another Los Angeles protest tomorrow, Hip Hop for Assange. Link that is on the AssangeDefense.org. We got Napa, California turning up on Monday and Tuesday leading up to the trial. They're doing bannering over an overpass in the Napa Valley Highway. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with an educational event taking place with Courage Foundation and Defense Assange. Denver crew, shout out to them this weekend. Tulsa, Boston on Monday. So Paul is literally going to Merrick Garland's house for a whole weekend, going back on Monday and having another fucking event. So huge shout out to that crew for pulling all that together. Into Canada, we have Ontario the 23rd, Mexico City the 27th, outside of the U.S. Embassy. Nat's going to be going outside of the Netflix building. So if you know who Nat is and want to join her outside of the Mexico City Netflix, you can do that. Brussels on the 25th and 27th. Melbourne today. So I don't know. I think they're in the future. So this event already happened technically, I believe. What else we got? We got Milwaukee tonight and tomorrow at the Lincoln Memorial Drive on Lafayette Hill. We got Duisburg, I believe that might be Germany, Lohm. And then the Netflix events, this is the address to all of them. If you're interested in turning up and you're in one of the major cities, that's a really cool way to get involved. And this is on Sunday if you wanted to turn out for them then. Then we have Hamburg, we have Adelaide, Wellington again. I can't pronounce that one. Oslo. Correction on the Netflix events. Another Melbourne event coming up tomorrow, which that might actually be happening now. Monday the 25th, the online event for Misty Winston. Super pumped about that one. And then ending New York City with Shane's event on the 26th, ending the list. On the 26th outside of the Netflix building at noon.
If only there were more events to go to.
I know.
Right? Well, the only events that's missing from the list are the ones that people haven't planned yet. That's all.
Exactly.
Oh, you guys. I'm dealing with the dumbest fucking troll. Sorry. Sorry.
So I've been going up as of today and yesterday and hanging up these.
Yay.
I printed the QR code on there for a reason. So there's a Facebook page for the event, and this will allow people to scan it and get to that Facebook page without me having to post. Because Facebook links are complicated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and fuck Facebook anyway.
A good system.
Fuck Facebook.
They don't let me post anything about Assange and boost the post. Like if it's about Assange, Facebook business will reject my money and not let me boost my Assange post. They've done it to me before.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy the way that works. So I love Facebook's back-end marketing tool, like the business profile where you can do like A/B testing and pick interest groups and shit like that. That's an extremely powerful engine that they don't let activists use. They took that away from us in like 2017 or 2018 during the midterms when AOC was running, just as a like interesting point of history.
Yeah.
I think that's all, unless we want to do the Operation Pelican stuff.
No, I think that's too long. We only have 18 minutes left, dude.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's like 10 slides on like a dozen paragraphs each.
Or if you could send me some of those informationals, I want to pass some of those out at the protest. I think.
Are you familiar with Somerset Bean, Shane?
Somerset Bean, not exactly.
So Bean is amazing. Bean does a lot of the graphic design for the Free Assange movement. He designed my billboards, and he also designs a lot of informational like printouts that you can do. So if you go to somersetbean.com, there's a ton of like free printable flyers, buttons, posters, informational handouts, all of that stuff. You can go. You can print out. Assange? Yeah, that's all it is. It's Assange. Okay. I'll send you the link on Twitter. Okay. But yeah, he is amazing and has been a long time Assange activist and does incredible work for us. And there's literally here, I'll screen share it so you can see some of the stuff that he does.
Sure, yeah. I figure we could hand out some informationals. That might be good.
Here is what Bean does. Let's see. Okay, so here's like some blah, 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 blah. This is some of the billboards that he's done. Okay, so like here's just some like flyers. And then the informational stuff. Sorry if this is like fast scrolling for you guys. Sorry. I can see it. No, I'm just trying to get to the informational stuff, but I'm sure that's like I should have said like seizure warning or something. Oh wait.
Some of it.
Yep. Sorry, I scrolled too fast for myself. So here's like some of the informational flyers that he has that just gives like a lot of the bullet point information on like what's happening in the case and all of that good stuff. There's some he has like some like here's like some of the informational stuff that Bean does. So yeah, just go to somersetbean.com and there's a ton of free printable stuff that you can jump on there, check out, and print. And also if there's something that you want specifically made, if you contact Bean, he'll get it done for you. He's amazing.
And I'll drop a link into our group chat for the wiki. It's called the WikiLeaks Top 10. It's just some really, really cool infographics that were made back in the day about specific releases that WikiLeaks did. So I will find those and send that to you too.
And if anybody watching wants to speak at the event or has any questions for me about the protest, I'm going to drop one of my phone numbers, not all of my phone numbers, into the stream. So 929-340-6944. 7079. That's the one that it's already online. Everybody already has it, so I don't mind dropping that one. I have like 7 phones, so.
I can't even keep up with one, dude. What are you doing?
Well, there's 2 cell phones, business line, landline, extra cell phone, even that's like a text now number.
Yeah, I always text that one by accident.
Yeah, he always texts my landline
number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but I think we're good for today.
Okay.
Yeah, my kid's yelling at me, so.
So do you want to let everybody know what KRTD is and where they can find you on the internet?
Sure. So KRTD is we are a subsidiary of CNN News. No. No, I'm just kidding. We actually work for Fox News. No. So for real, KRTD Media is an independent news network. We're in the process of becoming a nonprofit. We have several shows, one on what's going on in Colombia. We have news, we have interviews, and we have a bunch of other shows. So you can check us out. We're pretty much at KRTD Media on everything. It's simpler that way. So you could find us there. And you could find me at Shane M. Coughlin, Coughlin on Twitter. Or just find the KRTD Twitter and you'll find my thing retweeted. It's easier than trying to spell my name. So yeah, check us out there.
Cool.
Yeah,
definitely check out KRTD.
And you've had a lot of cool interviews recently. Like you had Gloria Jones on there.
Yeah,
yes, you Misty.
And you too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't consider me a cool interview. I'm bored.
I do. I consider you a cool interview.
Yeah, I had Misty on there. I guess I had Andrew, but I guess nobody cares about that one. I had Steph Zamorano recently. I had Shonda from Roar, Gloria Jones. So many.
You had Fiorella. Did you already say that?
Yeah, I didn't say that. I had Fiorella.
Yeah, he had me on. He had Steph Zamorano, Fiorella, and then me. Like, what am I doing here?
I think we had Sabby Sabs on the day before we did that. So.
Oh, I love Sabs.
Yeah, she promoted the event today on her live stream. At the very end of her live stream, I gave it to her.
Sabby! That's my girl.
Yeah, I asked her, and she's like, "Great." And I didn't know she was going to do it today. And then she texted me, "I just promoted the event on my live stream." I'm like, Link.
That's my girl. She's amazing. She is always very willing to talk about Julian Assange, to promote events and all that stuff. She's awesome. I love her. I love all the crew at FHL. They're doing great work. And they're also always willing to talk about Assange and promote Assange and all that stuff. So,
yeah, and we've asked a couple of other people. I'm going on a tiny show, called the Falcone General, I think it's called. I'm going on their show tomorrow. At some point, they have not given me a time yet to promote this. So I may or may not be going on that show. I can't be sure.
I'll be going on Tommy Nation Politics on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday night. So shout out to them. I did an interview with him once. He was on the Vigil with us with like Nico and a bunch of other people. He's just those are my favorite content creators. I love Tommy small Nation. Ones that are just starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's how this was. Like Steve was like 3 months in, and I was like, "Hey, this just happened. Like, would you start doing this with us?" He's like, "Absolutely." So, what about you, Misty? Where can people find you on the internet?
On the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. I'm there all the time. I have another show called Facts on the Ground with Jesse Zerwell. We're getting ready to interview Alex Rubenstein about his latest piece on the Facebook whistleblower. And then I also have Bitch with Comrade Misty, which is every Wednesday at 7. I just had a couple people from the March for Medicare for All on last week. This week, we're going to have, you guys probably know him as Coy Contrarian on Twitter. We got to meet him. I want to say it was at the Clovers event in March. He was in DC. I get my DC events a little bit screwy. but yeah, we got to meet him there. So he's going to be on this week, which I'm really excited about. So that's going to be fun. And then again, Monday, I have that event with the ACLU from Capital University. Please tune in for that. It's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. What else? Oh, and I just did an interview last night with Ryan Knight. It's not been released yet, but please keep a lookout for that. He was very cool to have me on and talk about Julian Assange. So definitely keep an eye out for that. As soon as it's up and posted, I'll tweet it out. So yeah, and I think that's just quick reminder, you can write to Craig Murray, you can write to Daniel Hale. If you go to
CraigMurrayJustice.org.
CraigMurrayJustice.org. Or there's a Daniel Hale support team on Twitter. There's also a Twitter account for Craig Murray. They have all of the information on how you can write to them and all of that good stuff. And then obviously we had Reality Winner's mom on earlier. Please support Reality Winner. However you can, contact representatives or whatever you can do to push for a pardon, to get her out from underneath this cloud of bullshit would be helpful. So we have to, we have to stand up for these people. We need people like that now more than ever. So yeah.
Do you have a painting of Julian behind you?
Sorry.
What?
Do you have a painting of Julian behind you?
I do. That's Artsy Marxist on Twitter. I don't know if you're familiar with her or them. I think she goes they, them, maybe. I think her's okay for her or them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's hard for me to keep pronouns straight. And I'm also really terrible, honestly. Oh, I'm so bad at remembering they, them. It's like, for whatever reason, my brain cannot process they, them. And so I always forget to say they, them. But yeah, Artsy Marxist painted that for me. I actually have another commission coming from her soon. But she's amazing. Artsy_Marxist on Twitter. Go check her work out. She's amazing. It's beautiful. Honestly, I've posted pictures of it. Doesn't do it justice. It's gorgeous. Yeah. So that's my Julian. That's my Julian Assange painting. So yeah, I think that's all I have. I don't know. I always feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think that's all I have.
Cool. My name's Andrew. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Zigman. ZIGMUND. It's right there. You can find us on Twitter at action_4 Assange. We have an awesome team behind the scenes that helps keep up on the social media stuff. The best way to reach me directly is just through DMs. If you're interested in starting up your own event or anything like that, we would be more than happy to help you. I had a bunch of things, but I don't remember any of them right now, which is really bad. So just do what you can, everybody. This is crunch time, and I appreciate everyone around the world that is turning up right now, because I feel like as a community, we've done an amazing job of making sure this doesn't get forgotten. So shout out to all of the hardcore motherfuckers out there that are making sure that this doesn't go away. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, I probably have to end the stream, huh?
No, we'll just sit here awkwardly in silence.
I love you guys.